So as always, in the Interchange podcast, we like to jump into a section that we call the Rapid7. It's a delightful opportunity to throw a series of questions very quickly at our guest and see what kind of answers we can get. Short and simple as best, ideally yes. One word, but let's just get started, shall we? Are you ready for it, Verena?
Bring it on.
Right, you see, that's the right attitude. We'll get started right away. So, first question. Dark chocolate or white chocolate?
Dark.
Yes. Favorite phone?
Night on Earth. From Jim Jarmusch.
I totally get it. We were actually asking favorite phone, but favorite film is good too.
Oh, I was like, never heard of that phone before.
You gotta check it out. We've got a beautiful scene with a taxi cab in Finland. There's taxi cabs everywhere, but
absolutely, oh, absolutely.
Beautiful film. I like it. So, describe the future in one word.
Full of smiles.
Oh, that's more than one word, but I love it. Full of smiles. Oh.
Okay, let's see what this is going to bring us. Describe the present in one word.
Lovely, because I talk with this two of you.
Oh,
thank you.
Lovely. Okay, describe your state of mind in one word.
That's going to be challenging.
In the moment, because again, I talk with you.
Present.
Your greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extending one word, right? It is an exception in a way because I talk with two persons at the same time. Usually I can be only that in a present with one person. So
I understand.
Yeah. Your greatest source of joy.
Other people.
Oh.
That's congruent.
And an inspirational message in about 5 words. Or less.
Or maybe a bit more, but not more than 6 or 7.
Try to make the person smile.
Okay, that's 6. We got that.
We
got that. What I really love about this is the level of congruence and alignment between the different answers, because there's a single thread that goes through all of these answers, even the one that was meant to be a phone but ended up being a film. Even that, there's kind of this single thread, which is this human-centered way of living. Do you call it a lifestyle? Is it a lifestyle that you have?
Yes, I guess it is, but it took me really long time to realize that because I did not understood it.
Yeah.
Because, right, I mean, there are moments where I sometimes think, am I kind of this social anxiety that I don't want to be around other people? That's not the case. It's just I need to really kind of separate between that incredible intense moment when I'm in the presence or interacting with other people with my absolutely alone time where I kind of balance that out. So I'm happy to on a constant basis, right, people, and because I remember every single person, right, I mean, whether I connect people, the element of, you know, African continent startups with, you know, Olympic, you know, a participant at an Olympic Games, or right, a politician with, you know, whomever, or a refugee. I mean, wherever I have the ability with a few sentences or a few messages connect people, right? As long as they carry it forward. Hey, call me in. I'm happy to do that across the whole world, across every level.
Yeah. And there's also something very important is that be it ADHD or otherwise, people ask, and this is perhaps one question that I wanted to ask at some point is, how come you have so much energy all the time? Well, one interpretation is that, well, guess what? My brain works this way. If you're too slow, that is your problem, not mine. And then the second answer is that energy, human energy, is such a magnificent tool and source because it's renewable. It's when you don't have energy anymore, there's something that you can do, something that you need to do, something that you absolutely must do that recharges you, that fuels you with more energy, and then you can spend this energy. And I love the idea of intensity because instead of living life normally, not normally, that's not the correct term, but just average energy everywhere, average attention everywhere, just passing by everything and not living things with intensity, we will not be able to be as creative as we want to be. We will not be able to be as connected to others as we'd like to be, because all of these great things take energy and take attention and take intensity.
Yes.
And by doing all of that, you're putting all that intensity, all that energy out there, and that's absolutely amazing. And then knowing how to recharge in order to do more of that is even more amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, right, I learned now this is really alone time. And again, that is relatively brave to tell that to people and say, sorry, but I mean, if I close my door or, right, don't even bother trying to just drop by my address and ring my doorbell, I might run in a panic attack, right? But ping me and say, in 5 minutes, I'm there. I'm okay, right? Because then I respond and I'm okay, cool. In 5 minutes, I'm dressed and everything's fine, right? So that is part of mine. And for example, meditation just doesn't work for me. But at the same time, I know that at least, Alexandra, you are a bit curious, right? What I did in the 4 hours, or sorry, 6 hours, right? Before we went on this call.
Yes, please.
Right? Like a whole work day. Just...
So yeah, pretty much. For some people, it was most probably a full work day. So I would, I think this morning, right, I woke up about short or a bit before 5 o'clock in the morning. And because, right, it's now really sunny and warm in Helsinki, right, about 20 degrees. So I decided already yesterday, yes, this morning I will start my proper outdoor swimming season. So I took on, even usually I start with my breakfast preparation. I did not do that. So I took on my swimming suit, right, my buoy, my red buoy, so that no one would drive over me on the Baltic Sea, because Alexandra, I was swimming in the Baltic Sea. So I was swimming already half an hour in the Baltic Sea. Yes, I can see her freezing up there. And I swam about 850 meters. So, which is quite a bit of a distance for me. So then I went back home. I have a certain routine. So I even love to have, I learned again through that podcast, right? That's something I had to establish for myself. I work best with really rituals. So if everything kind of right, for example, every morning while I have breakfast, I write, because I became also more by chance and more vegan, vegetarian, flexitarian, whatever you call it. So I make sure I take my B12 vitamin. Then I measure my body temperature, because fun fact is my body temperature is extremely low compared to usual people. So it can go all the way down to 35 instead of 35 instead of 36.5 or something like that. Then I measure my blood pressure, because, right, at some point the doctor thought I have high blood pressure. The fun fact is my blood pressure goes up if I meet other people. Then I'm suddenly like boom, 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 boom. My breakfast preparation takes about 15 to 20 minutes. contains approximately 25 ingredients. I have 3 very manual processes, including I started grinding my own coffee every morning. The other manual exercise is I have a manual kind of method to make my milk for my coffee kind of. So there's a certain kind of nice old tool where I make my own kind of milk foam. And the third manual method goes back to my childhood, which is, I don't know, it's a kind of piece where you make your own kind of apple, what is it, mousse. So it's kind of really a ritual of having a very healthy breakfast, including pomegranate seeds. And so all my health comes from my breakfast. When I eat my breakfast, I sit at my laptop, spread positive energy to 35 people, including kids, etc. Then what I do is for example, Alexandra already got the first kind of taste of it, and I think Paul had it also since he met me. So I started preparing positive messages every time LinkedIn tells me someone has a birthday or a work anniversary or new job. So I have 5 different messages, plus the birthday greetings in German and English, right? And then I would send them out to people. What else do I do? So pretty much, right, all those kind of stuff, right? Then I made sure that I even have boxes around me in case you want to see the chocolate angel box and have the experience on this call. So I pretty much do all those things, right? I heat water because I got really in drinking hot water. So that gives you a bit of an idea what I do in my morning before I went on this call.
Do you have the box with you?
Breakfast.
Sorry, who goes first? Alexandra, ladies first, right? What is your question?
Thank you. Kudos for the 25 ingredients breakfast. It's not a question, it's just a statement of admiration.
Respect.
It started from kind of trying to lose weight, and then a doctor kind of verified what I do, right? And it was. And then I extended it all the time, right, to include, seeds and nuts and pomegranate and, so because I had a tendency to kind of, or let's say, right, if your mind is only either working or not working, right, then you might also want to have something which kind of keeps you occupied. So I would eat usually healthy, but I couldn't just stop eating. So I would just eat until my brain or my body goes like, okay, Verena, it's enough now. And I mean, COVID, I know it's tough, but because I enjoy my alone time while still connecting with people, even on a Zoom or a Google Meet call, right? So I very much enjoy. And I think Paul had an idea, right? I think compared to how he met me first time, I lost decent amount of weight by really ritualizing my eating habit as well, to really putting things in the storage, right, in the fridge, right, going back to some childhood food, what I love to eat, right? And I'm never bored. I can eat the same thing over and over, and as long as it's healthy, right? And my doctor did a check, so even now checking all my vitamins, am I missing something? Paul, now it's your question.
Do you happen to have with you?
Oh, I have I have all kind of boxes. Yes, absolutely. So let me see. So,
yeah, which is your favorite?
I mean, I don't. It's not about favorite. Let's say, right? I told earlier, I went from, right, I would just spend money on everything, right, to being extremely resourceful, right, and reusing and wherever it's possible. So let's start with the smallest box.
Live happy.
Legit.
This box, right?
Gratitude box.
It had, okay, my internet connection is now unstable. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was going a little slow for a second, but
this box was sent for me from a friend, right? When I was already known as the happy chocolate angel whatsoever. And there were little kind of note papers in where you can put then write a gratitude note. But for me, it became the perfect small box to have it in my day-to-day kind of bag around my shoulder, right? So if I go to the supermarket, it's always there. So let's see, currently it's a bit empty, but still, let me take the camera and move it down. So this is the current content of the box.
Oh.
Can you see it?
Yes.
a couple of good classic Finnish ones.
Yes, and a very classic German one as well, because the pink one, right, is a big childhood memory for Germans. So I can identify every German in the world who had either a childhood in Germany or grew up in Germany. So that is really only the day-to-day, right? Whoever meets me gets to meet that box. Then let me see, I have another box. This
Not how
one.
it was framed. Whoever meets me get to meet that box.
Oh, absolutely. So this box was sent from or brought from one of my favorite manager I earlier spoke about, right? It was full of cookies from Belgium, and the brand, I don't even know about the brand, right? But it's a perfect box. And that is, by the way, the box in the 8-second video, right? Which I will, later share with you. And right, currently it's empty, but it's empty because everything what was in there before this call made it into this box. This box is very simple, white, nothing special. It has the, wait a second, let's see, can we get it to a level where you can see the,
Yeah, if it's in front of you, I think.
Yes, it's a business card of mine. It's a very simple white box. The fun thing is I reuse all the time. So I glued my business card over the word Nokia, because this is an health aware watch, and the brand used to belong to Nokia, now it's Withings again. And so one of the earlier watches I had to watch my sleep, walk, everything was part of this box. So you still have the kind of serial number here. Oh. And I told earlier about one important element of this very early box, because, right, I walk up to you, right, with a big smile, and you already smile. And then, without you realizing what's happening, right, there's this small movement, beep, 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 right? So it's kind of, right, it doesn't help if it's a box where you have two pieces, right, the bottom and the top piece. Yeah. So I learned along the way as a detailed German that this movement is really important, right? Because people have no idea what hits them, right? It's a total surprise. They see a crazy person, right? Funny, colored shirt, right? Smile. And the next moment the box goes open. And so let's see how the box currently is filled. Or should we have a bit of a candy rain? Let's see how that works.
Candy rain.
It's raining candies today.
So now,
I love it.
Absolutely. So, and by the way, so it's full of childhood memories, right? It is because beside, right, when the box goes open and then people's reactions like, oh, is that for me? Really for me? And then people start to find their childhood memories in the box. And that is really the third kind of highest level of kind of reaction, right? The service in a way is already delivered with just the smile, right? They haven't even seen the content of the box. The next level is seeing the box, and the third one is if suddenly they are in a memory with their grandfather who died 10 years ago, right? Or if they are suddenly, so in a way, this affect what I have. I meet Paul and I immediately remember, the bus number 37, where he was waiting for when he last time met me. So in a way, meeting childhood or any kind of memory in the box brings people the same effect, because they are suddenly on their wedding day.
Yeah.
Right. So Yeah, and then there are bigger boxes when people really book me, because then obviously, right, I meet more people in a quicker time. So the box needs to be bigger and full of, colored experience. And then fun part is also, which I hear often in the work world, right? Because I remember everything. So I remember every reaction, right?
Mm.
And at the time when I was in that corporation, which no one will figure out except the people who have met me working for that company, even the former CIO of that company happened to then change jobs, and then he suddenly was exposed to the chocolate angel once a week. And his reaction when he saw the box, right, he was like, oh, that is such a difficult choice, right? Because, I mean, I'm not sure if that works now with the camera, but if I try, no, I think it doesn't work. So there's now on my keyboard, in that small box, there are about 50 different candies and chocolate. So when he said, oh, that is such a difficult choice, my response was, let me tell the story correct. He said, that is a very difficult decision. And I said, if that is your most difficult decision today, then it is a good day.
Smart.
I might be quick with my tongue, and that helps as well.
But that perspective, that's incredibly valuable for people. Just to be able to, again, I'd mentioned earlier, separating myself from the equation. I think this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily do on a regular basis. They don't necessarily take a second to pull back from their daily life and breathe and just enjoy something small, like a piece of chocolate. Even when they have a piece of chocolate, maybe it came with their coffee and it's right there, but they don't focus on it. They don't enjoy it the same way they do if it's presented by someone else. If every piece of chocolate in that box is unique, and they have to choose, and then suddenly they're focused on the sensation, the flavor, the feel. All of it becomes so much more incredibly tangible for them. And I think the same way
that's quite meditative,
right? And maybe you're not good at meditation, but this is a different form of meditation, of focusing yourself on a moment. And I think that that's an incredibly powerful thing to have designed and shaped that moment right down to the opening of the lid. You want it to always have a hinge. You want it to always be just right. You've picked and chosen boxes for different occasions. This is a way of asserting your willpower on a tiny little area around yourself and then spreading it to someone else. Just for a moment.
The point is, right, because it's not that an ADHD person is never be able to focus, but if they focus, right, then they might focus and doing things which are completely useless or it doesn't bring any value for 10 hours because you are so passionate about it, right? So it's really, you are. And the husband of my oldest friend, he once said so lovely, he said, I'm living in extremes. I don't know how to live in a middle ground. Either I do extremely the one side or I go into the other extreme. I don't even know how to live just, Alexandra, what you earlier said, right? Perhaps we should not kind of dare to just live every day, just, the way, and then comes the vacation, right? And if suddenly, right, COVID hits and we are not able to go on that 1-2 weeks vacation, what the whole year we were waiting for that day, right? Finally, all the other one. No, let's try to find those beautiful small things in our day-to-day interaction, right? Let's see what positive things you can establish within your work. And right, for example, right, if people kind of, are interested and kind of look around, and recently someone who have met me the last time when we were perhaps 18 or 19 years old. No, sorry, I think in a private school, right? We recently reconnected, right? Not just by connecting in social media, but really kind of reconnecting with a message. And she told me she has read about me in a book, and she was completely blown away. And I'm like, I know only of one book which talks about me. So, I mean, are there other books who are talking about me and I just don't know about it? But that book where part of my story is kind of told is really a beautiful book. And for people living in Finland, right, or around Helsinki, Espoo, I can tell you a secret. You can even find it in the library here, because I encourage the library in Espoo to buy a copy of the book so that people can find it and borrow it. Because the book is called Do Good at Work. And that exactly really speaks about beautiful examples down to scientific kind of expertise on why it is so important to have a purpose at work, right? And the author calls me pretty much the role model or the poster child for Do Good at Work, right? Where you can, there are so many things, tiny things, where you can really find in the most mundane jobs a real purpose, right? And that everyone can do, right? Find something right in the tiny things, and trust me, it's not that other people don't value that, right? It's just right, embrace your own, being a bit different, or coming up with a funny idea, or coming up with something. As long as it's not harmful to anyone else, right? Everyone will highly appreciate that. They might not always show it on the first glance, but they do. They do.
I think that is a wonderful thought. And I would love for our audience to kind of ponder on those last few words when it comes to those little moments that we can find in the most mundane structures. And I think by tapping a bit more into that, we can tap a bit more into, as you said, Verena, at the beginning, our inner child, and lead a more fulfilling, more aligned kind of life. Verena, I want to thank you wholeheartedly for this, for these not micro, these were macro moments of joy and human connection and insights and authentic selflessness. So I want to thank you so much for everything, and I want to thank our audience for listening to us. Verena, a few last words perhaps that you would like to add?
I mean, the recommendation I tell to my dear Kati, the dearest child in my life, I told her, please never, lose your inner child. So I would call out on every, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're able to tap into your inner child. Remember how it was, right, when you were a child, and never ever lose track of it.
Fantastic advice.
That will.
Everyone, a huge, fun, enjoyable moment we had now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Verena, for being there. Paul, it's always a pleasure co-hosting this with you. See you again next time with another angel of chaos.
Bye, everybody.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.